Good morning. Welcome to CWC Winston-Salem. My name's Pastor Mark, and the gang's all here. We're here gathered together again with you. If you joined us for Easter last weekend, thank you for coming back. If you're new today, we want to say thank you for checking us out online. We exist as a church to lead people into a growing relationship with Jesus. That is our whole purpose. That is the reason we are here. We just hope that whatever we experience together today, in this message, in this worship, in this service, that it will change your life from the inside out. So thanks again for joining us. If you are a guest of ours, we would ask you to check out our mobile app, CWC Mobile. There's a Contact Us button at the top, and we would love for you to fill out that form today to register that you're visiting with us so that we can minister to you, we can pray for you, however best that we can serve you. We want to mention just real quickly that you can give online through our website, through our mobile app. You can text to give. All of those are listed on the screen. If you're a guest of ours, we always say we don't expect you to give anything. If you feel led to, that's great, but no obligation. Our members and our regular attenders, we want to faithfully give and be good stewards even during this pandemic and this crisis. And lastly, we want to mention once again the Easton Elementary Food Drive, non-perishable food for Easton Elementary, which is right down the street from our location. It is so crucial for us to continue to serve them. You can do so Monday through Thursday, 9 to 11 each morning to drop off the food here at the church office, and we will make sure and get that delivered. So we're going to do something a little different this morning. Before we move on, I want to encourage you to, on Facebook right now, if you will type hello, tell us who you are, where you're watching from, who all's gathered. We wanted to give you just a moment to do that right there on Facebook Live. So take just a second and tell us hello and good morning and where you're watching from. All right, we appreciate that. Keep saying hello this morning. If we were all gathered together this morning in the worship center, we would have a greeting time and we would be milling all over. And I'm promising you, the day is going to come where we can shake hands and hug and fist bump and all those things again. But we're so glad you're here. I want to lead us in prayer, and then I'm going to ask you to get ready your heart for worship. So would you pray with me? Father, thank you for today. Thank you for what you're going to do in our midst. Thank you for every single person that's watching online right now or that'll watch it at any point during the day or during the week. We just ask you, Father, even though the room may be empty, as we are preparing, that you would fill it with your Holy Spirit, and that, Lord, you would help us connect with you in a really dynamic way today. We thank you for your Son, Jesus. We thank you that because of him, we live and move and have our being. And we just pray that every single person that comes into contact with this service today would be touched and changed by you. That none of us could leave this time being the same that we were when it started. We ask and pray all of this in Jesus' name. And everybody said together, amen. Watch this video together.
We are often told, God loves you. But what does that really mean? That some impersonal force, galaxies away, may consider you from time to time? Or that you are a single drop in a vast ocean of humanity, and God cares for all of it? There are billions of lives, billions of stories. Can we really believe he has great destinies planned for all of them? Surely the ruler of the universe has more important affairs than to notice the needs of one singular individual. But hear this, nothing could be further from the truth. When God says, I love you, it means that he crafted every detail of your being. Your every feature is his perfect design. His mind perceives your worries and your thoughts. His heart is broken by your pain. You are his child, created in his image. Your value exceeds all the riches of earth. Your worth extends beyond the stars. And though you may be unaware, he's carefully constructing the events of your life to build his kingdom. If you are willing, he can and will achieve wonders through your hands. It is the deepest passion, the most meaningful promise. It is your security, your hope, and your future. It is the truth beyond doubt. God loves you.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for worship today. I just want to remind you that no matter where you are, God holds you in His hands. Come on, let's raise a hallelujah together today. I raise a hallelujah in the presence of my enemies. I raise a hallelujah louder than the unbelief. I raise a hallelujah. Our weapon is a melody. I raise a hallelujah. Heaven comes to fight for me.
I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive.
Hope you believe that this morning. I raise a hallelujah with everything inside of me. I raise a hallelujah. I will watch the darkness flee. I raise a hallelujah in the middle of the mystery. I raise a hallelujah. Fear has lost its hold. Fear, you lost your hold on me. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Come on, let's sing this together. No matter what we're going through, we're just gonna sing it a little louder. Sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder.
Oh, come on and sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder.
In the presence of my enemies.
Come on and sing a little louder.
Louder than the unbelief.
We're gonna sing a little louder.
My weapon is a melody.
Oh, sing a little louder.
Heaven comes to fight for me.
Sing a little louder.
beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you, our Christ. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, our King. What a beautiful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. You didn't want heaven without us, so Jesus, you brought heaven down. My sin was great, your love was greater. What could separate us now? What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a wonderful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus.
Love to sing of your praise, Lord. Love to sing of who you are.
Death could not hold you. The veil tore before you. You silenced the boast of sin and grave. The heavens are roaring the praise of your glory. For you are raised to life again. You have no rival. You have no equal. Now and forever, God, you reign. Yours is the kingdom. Yours is the glory. Yours is the name above all names. What a powerful name it is. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a powerful name it is. Nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name. You have no equal. Now and forever, God, you reign. Yours is the kingdom. Yours is the glory. Yours is the name above all names. What a powerful name it is. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a powerful name it is. Nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus.
right, it is so good to be back together with you this morning, and I'm so excited as we kick off our new series today called Breakout. This is going to be a 6-week series where we're going to talk all about becoming the person that God has made you to be, and we'll get more into that this morning as we go. It's not only going to be a Sunday or a weekend experience, but we're also going to do a major emphasis for this whole 6 weeks with all of our life groups. All of our life groups are going to be studying this same material. It's going to come mostly from the book of Jeremiah. We're going to study that and also have discussion questions and just exercises. And there's just so much power in us coming together, studying this same material. So I really, really hope that you will make sure and attend your small groups, your life groups. I know they're virtual right now. We're not able to gather like we would normally. But if your life group has not been meeting, terrorize your leader and tell them that, hey, we want to meet during this 6 weeks of Breakout. We're going to also have a couple of new group options that we're going to start virtually during the week. And what I'm going to ask you to do this morning, if you're new to CWC Winston-Salem, hey, even if you don't attend here and you want to be a part of these groups, all I'm going to ask you to do is email passiton@christwesleyan.org. That's passiton@christwesleyan.org, and give us your contact information so that we can send you a link to join us virtually online through WebEx. You can also do the very same thing through the CWC mobile app. Just give us your information because we'll be sending out those links sometime at the first part of the week. You'll be joining me, and we're going to create this opportunity for us to grow individually as disciples, but also grow together and build unity as a church as we look at this series, Breakout. But real excited about this series as I've been preparing, and I want to kick off the message today, or the series, with this message called Discover Your Divine Design. Discover your divine design. I don't know if you have ever thought about it or not, but Helen Keller, who was a great woman of faith, who, though she was both blind and deaf, she left a lasting legacy in our world. And she was once asked this question: was there anything worse than being blind? You may have heard this quote before. Was there anything worse than being blind? And you know what her response was? Yes. Being able to see, but not having any vision. Being able to see, but not having any vision. It's a remarkable statement if you think about it. Here was a woman who couldn't see, but had so much vision for her life. It's a statement that pierces through the ability that many of us often take for granted every day. And it points to an even greater reality that too few of us ever really take hold of. It's this: we know how to see, but we lack vision. Let me say that again. We know how to see, but we lack vision. When it comes to seeing and vision, clarity is simple. You probably notice every week when I'm with you, I have to wear these glasses or I cannot see right here. I can see way out yonder, but I can't see here right in front of me. When it comes to seeing and vision, though, clarity is essential, which is why so many of us, you included, some of you watching out there, you wear glasses, you wear contacts, and even if we don't have any problems with our seeing, we still wear all kinds of glasses. I mean, as the weather has started to get warmer, maybe some of you have broken out your sunglasses because you want to protect your eyes from the sun. I don't know if you wear sunglasses very often. Some of you, my wife and I broke these out, the heart-shaped glasses, back Valentine's Day, and that's all I'm going to tell you about that. And then you might wear these for July the 4th. I got these just this week just for the message. I mean, I can't see a thing out of them, but anyway, they look good. But the reality is we all wear different kinds of glasses because, some people even wear fake glasses because they think they look more scholarly or more intelligent or just plain better with glasses on. But another pair of glasses that we sometimes wear are these 3D glasses. Do you have a pair of 3D glasses at home? Well, maybe so, maybe not. But the reality is, whether we're headed to watch the newest release of Star Wars, maybe the Avengers, maybe Toy Story, there is just something that comes to life when you watch the movie through 3D glasses. The action of the movie jumps off the screen and into life. And sure, the glasses look and even feel a little goofy at first, but if you ever tried watching a 3D movie without a pair of these, then you just know how important they really, really are. Because without the glasses, the film is more of a blur than it is a movie. But with the glasses on, everything comes into focus. The movie starts happening not just on the screen, but all around you. The movie becomes an experience. I don't know if you realize it or not, and I bring this up today because I believe that what happens in the theater also happens in our lives. It does. Too many of us are watching a 3D version of our lives in 2 dimensions. Think about it. God is writing a story in our world, and He wants to write a story in your life that literally leaps off the pages of the Bible and into the places we live and work and play. But for many of us, without this, all we see is a blur. Let me ask you this question this morning. Look with me if you will. What do you see when you look at God's story for your life? I mean, some of you probably see that question and you're like, what do you mean, God's story for my life? God has a plan for your life. Yes, you watching this morning. God has a plan for your life just as much as He has for my life, for your spouse, for your kids, for your coworkers, for your neighbors. God is writing a story and you are the main character in it. And I'm asking you, what do you see when you look at God's story for your life? For some of us, I think all we see are the obstacles or the challenges or the opportunities that are standing right in front of us. We're living kind of nearsighted, if you will. We're able to see clearly what we're facing right now, but we're incapable of seeing beyond it. For others, we live kind of farsighted. We have a clear vision for the future, but all the obstacles we face each day get in the way of us arriving at a preferred future. But let me ask it this way this morning. What if we all could live with a vision for tomorrow that not only inspires us to our future, but it helps us know what to do right here and right now? What if we all could break out? What if we could become aware of all that God has made us to be? What if we could be completely committed to what God has called us to do, compelled by a provocative picture for the future, and deeply invested in that future that makes the future more than just a wish? What if your future was a God dream that not only came into greater focus and became more and more real each day, but it also left a legacy beyond the years of your life? This is Breakout. This is Breakout. Somebody heard the series title this week and said that's exactly what we all want to do right now because we're quarantined in our home. It's bigger than that. This is your opportunity to break out. This is the time to hear the call that, to live your life for all that God's designed it to be. This is the time. It's a call to stop settling for a lesser version of you than God had in mind when He crafted you in His imagination before you were even born. It's a call to get a clear view of who you are and what you are made for. It's a clear call to step into that version of you with the kind of confidence that not only changes you, but the entire world around you. See, do you realize this? God was having and has been having a dream about your life from the very beginning of time. You think, really, me? Yes, you. Whoever's watching today, no matter what you're going through, no matter how bad life is right now, that does not mean that God's plan and God's dreams for you are dead. And I would just ask you this question. Why in the world would you settle for anything less? Why? This is Breakout. And it is time for you and I to get a clear view of the true you. That's the way we're going to say it this series. Get a clear view of the true you. If you have your Bibles this morning, I said it earlier, this series is primarily in the book of Jeremiah. It's an Old Testament book, maybe a little bit difficult to find for you. I'm going to turn there with you. But I want you to turn to Jeremiah, and we're going to turn to Jeremiah, the very first chapter. Jeremiah chapter 1. Let's right after Isaiah, if you're looking for it in your Old Testament scriptures. But let me give you a little background as you're turning there. Jeremiah prophesied right before and during one of the darkest moments in Israel's history. It was the exile. Now, a century earlier, if you remember, Israel was divided into two kingdoms. There was the northern kingdom of Israel and there was the southern kingdom of Judah. And a century earlier, the former northern kingdom had been destroyed, and its people had been scattered among the nations of the Assyrian Empire. Now, the southern kingdom, Judah, was heading for similar judgment. And even though Judah had seen the spiritual decline and the destruction of the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom, guess what they did? They didn't listen. They continued to turn their back on God. Jeremiah's task, very dubious task I might add, was to warn them, the unrepentant people of Judah, that the day of reckoning was almost upon them. Now, just for a little background for history, his prophetic ministry begins in the 13th year of the king Josiah. Josiah was a great king. He led the last spiritual renewal in Israel's history. However, his reforms kind of failed to get below the surface. And Jeremiah was from a priestly family. He was called to be a prophet. He prophesied for 5 decades, from 627 BC till 582 BC. And he was known, many of you may know this, he was called the weeping prophet. Why? Because although he pleaded with Judah to return to God, the nation sadly never did. They never did. Let's read together Jeremiah chapter 1. I'm going to start with verse 1. Look at the screen with me. These are the words of Jeremiah, son of Hilkiah, one of the priests from the town of Anathoth in the land of Benjamin. The Lord first gave messages to Jeremiah during the 13th year of the reign of Josiah, son of Amon, king of Judah. Verse 3, the Lord's messages continued throughout the reign of King Jehoiakim, Josiah's son, until the 11th year of the reign of King Zedekiah, another of Josiah's son. In August of that 11th year, the people of Jerusalem, watch this, were taken away as captives. Kind of sad to think that all of Jeremiah's efforts fell short. That's not the point of the story. Let's read on. The Lord gave me this message, talking to Jeremiah. I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart, and I appointed you as my prophet to the nations. O sovereign Lord, I said, I can't speak for you. I'm too young. He starts making excuses right from the top. Verse 7, the Lord replied, don't say that. Don't say I'm too young, for you must go wherever I send you, and you must say whatever I tell you. And don't be afraid of the people, for I will be with you, and I will protect you. I, the Lord, have spoken. Verse 9, then the Lord reached out and touched my mouth, Jeremiah says. And he said, look, I have put my words in your mouth. Today I appoint you to stand up against nations and kingdoms. Some you must uproot and tear down, destroy and overthrow. Others you must build up and plant. Would you bow with me just for a second? I'm going to ask God to add His richest blessings to the reading of His Word. Father, thank you for this book and this story and this opportunity to go through this series together. Lord, may you speak and get me out of your way. May you grab a hold of our hearts during these 6 weeks. And Lord, challenge us, convict us, comfort us where we need to be comforted, but most of all, change us from the person we are right now to who it is you want us to be and you've designed us to be. We ask and pray this in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. The good news for all of us is that we aren't the first people in history to struggle with vision. In fact, if you were to go through the Bible, most of the great leaders in biblical history had this struggle as well. I mean, take Moses, for example. He struggled as a convicted killer on the backside of a desert to see God, who God had made him to be. Take Gideon. He struggled by threshing wheat in a winepress because he couldn't imagine the mighty man of valor that God had created him to be. Take Samuel. He struggled to perceive that Jesse's oldest son wouldn't be the next king of Israel, but that the youngest shepherd boy, who no one even invited to the anointing, would be the king. And then take Paul. I mean, Paul had to be literally knocked to the ground and blinded for a few days before he could even start seeing correctly. Today, we're going to see what Moses and Gideon and Samuel and Paul all struggled with was the same struggle that Jeremiah had. In fact, Jeremiah and the whole book of Jeremiah is kind of an inside look, if you will, at one prophet's and one country's struggle to see what God sees. That's why the prophet Jeremiah and the book of Jeremiah is a perfect place for us to break out. We're going to be studying it this whole series. If you were to have lived and walked in Jeremiah's day, it would probably be a lot like today. I don't mean with COVID-19 and all that, but you could say that life was a blur. The threat of attack was real. The deliverance of God seemed distant. A story of the past, but nowhere connected to the reality of the day. They were just going through life, living to satisfying themselves, forsaking God and all of His ways, and using everything they had been given by God to serve themselves. It is right at this point that God calls Jeremiah to be His mouthpiece to the nation. And as God does this, He makes a couple of remarkable statements that I want to hone in on this morning and take a look at to Jeremiah that I hope will encourage you and will get us on the path to discovering our divine design. It's this big idea. You are more unique than you think you are. Do you realize that? You are more unique than you think you are. Now you're thinking, really? Yes, you are. You maybe don't think so. Maybe something in your past has convinced you otherwise. But I'm telling you, in God's mind, you are more unique than you think you are. And we're going to hone in on that today with a couple of the things that God says to Jeremiah in this scripture. Look at the first one with me. Your divine design is this. You are a one-of-a-kind divine design. You are a one-of-a-kind divine design. You're thinking, well, what makes me so special? Well, Paul pointed to it in Ephesians 2:10 when he said this. We are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things He planned for us long ago. What does that mean? In the Greek, that word masterpiece is poema, which we get our word poem from. In other words, we are God's highest work of art. As a work of art, we are designed to do the good works that God has prepared for each of us to do. Look back with me at those verses 4 through 8 again, where He told Jeremiah this. I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Did you know that? Did you realize God knew you before He even formed you in your mother's womb? That's hard to wrap your mind around. I get that. Before you were born, He says, I set you apart. In other words, I made you unique. I gave you something that nobody else had, and I appointed you as my prophet to the nations. In other words, friend, if you're watching today, can I just tell you, God has been dreaming about you and your life from the beginning of time. Before you came into existence, you were in His imagination. He has made you exactly who you are to be in order to do everything He has called and is calling you to do. There's no one on the planet like you. He formed you in the womb. He knows you. And He has destined you for great things. Excuse me a minute. The truth, however, is even though this idea is repeated through the Bible, most of us have trouble believing it. Just like Jeremiah did. Like Jeremiah, we convince ourselves that there's nothing truly special about me. I'm too young, or I'm too old, or my abilities aren't that significant, or my passions aren't that extraordinary, or, even if I'm convinced of who God has made me to be, my environment would never allow me to be that person. We're caught in the haze of the ordinary, rarely glimpsing the extraordinary creation that God has made us to be. So we settle for an ordinary life with modest expectations of what God could ever do through us. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever wondered if there's anything unique and special about you? I'm here to tell you today that you're no different than Jeremiah. You're no different than Him appointing Jeremiah and setting him apart. And you, my friend, man, woman, boy, girl, whoever's watching today, you are a unique divine design. And I want you, during these 6 weeks, to discover that. I was thinking in terms of, have you ever noticed that when you go to the store and you buy a shirt, And it looks great in the store, but then you get it home and everything changes, right? I mean, this is the problem with buying our clothes off the rack, because the sizes of small, medium, and large don't necessarily fit everybody's body the same, right? I mean, or you buy a certain size, you take it home, or it fits well even if you try it on the store, and then you go home and you wash it once and it shrinks, and it's kind of old news. This kind of happened to my wife. She bought this shirt a while back and it looked great in the store. She tried it on, and then she came home and she washed it, and voila. It's kind of shrunk. Just a little bit, right? Now, she did tell me that it's got the material that she can stretch back out if she really wants to. But I was thinking about this in terms of what happens to you and me when it comes to looking at our life. Because if you've ever found a shirt, and she did that day, that fit just right. I mean, it was exactly like she wanted. But if you've ever come across a shirt like that, if you've ever had a shirt tailored to you, you know it's a game changer. Once you've purchased it, you don't ever want anything, to wear anything that's not really your size ever again. In fact, the difference between looking good and not looking good really has little to do with your body type, because the right size clothes make all the difference. And what's true about my wife's shirt and about the clothes that you and I wear, I think it's also true about our lives. Because I wonder how many of us today have shrunk back into a life that looks nothing like the life God designed us to live. Or I wonder how many of us have been burned by the lure of this pipe dream that's spawned on by the marketers and the advertisers or the credit card companies to aspire towards some version of the American dream that's just too big for anyone to live out in a healthy way. Or I wonder how many of us are really caught in between the two, living our life like we wear our clothes, just making do with the closet full of clothes that don't really fit us that well. Jeremiah 1 teaches us this. That's not how we have to live our lives. God has designed us. He has formed us. He has placed His hands on us long before we became who we are today. And not only that, but if we let Him, He will tailor our lives to be just the right size, to accomplish everything that He has been imagining for us from the beginning of time. Friend, you are more unique than you think you are. Yes, you are a one-of-a-kind divine design. So I want you to look at your spouse, your husband or your wife sitting beside them and say, hey, I'm pretty special. Go ahead, tell them right now. Say, I am unique. I am special. I am one of a kind, a divine design. Now, husbands especially, I don't recommend that you use that the next time you get into an argument with your wife. You want to save it for when things are good. Because remember the old saying, I'll start it, you finish it. Happy wife, happy life. Okay, so you are a one-of-a-kind, divine design. That's the first point that God makes to Jeremiah. Look at the second one with me. Your divine design points to your divine destiny. Your divine design points to your divine destiny. Look back with me at verses 9 and 10. It says, Then the Lord reached out and He touched my mouth and said, Look, I have put my words in your mouth. Today I appoint you to stand up against nations and kingdoms. Some you must uproot and tear down, destroy and overthrow. Others you must build up and plant. Jeremiah's divine design pointed to his divine destiny. God told him that he's going to be a planter and a builder. Not a literal planter like a farmer or a builder like an architect, but a prophet who plants and builds things with his words. But his planting and his building will not happen on neutral ground. In fact, to plant, he's going to need to plow up some things that have grown where they shouldn't have. In order to build, there will be some things that he has to tear down and remove. It won't always be easy, but it will be good work. And not everyone will appreciate the work he's doing. And honestly, for most of Jeremiah's life, most people didn't. But that is not the promise of the story. What is promised is that God would help him do it. And these are the words that God gives to everyone in Scripture. everyone that He's designed and everyone He's given a destiny, it's these words of, I will be with you. I will be with you. These are the words that God gave to Moses when He called him to go to Pharaoh and say, let my people go. These are the words that God gave to Joshua when Joshua was convinced that Moses' shoes were too big for him to fill. These are the words that God gave to Gideon when Gideon was sure that God had chosen the wrong person to deliver Israel from the Midianites. These are the words that God gave Solomon when he was convinced he wouldn't live up or couldn't live up to his father David's legacy. These are the words that Jesus passed on to His disciples and to us in the Great Commission, and the words that Paul gave to Timothy as he passed the torch from the early church to the next generation. And friend, I'm here to tell you today, in 2020, it's what God continues to say to all of us who have been designed by His great imagination. I will be with you. God will be with you. He designed you for greatness, and what He designs, He also destines. If you let, Him continue to form you and make you, He will help you step into your divine design and your divine destiny. I will be with you. I will be with you is what the Lord is saying to you this morning, because what was true for Jeremiah is also true for us. You're more unique than you think. The God of the universe has designed you the same way you have a unique fingerprint. Your life has a unique design. And this divine design came from God, and it comes tailored with a divine destiny. The God who formed you is also committed to forge the future with you. But to forge the future, you have to choose to step into it with Him in totality. Not just 50%, not just 75%, not just dabbing your feet in the water, but in totality. Let me throw out a date this morning, and I want to ask you if you remember what I'm talking about. August 21st, 2017. Anybody remember those days? August 21st, 2017. It was the Great American Eclipse, remember? It happened on that day, and it was a total solar eclipse visible within a band that spanned the entire contiguous United States. It was billed as a phenomenal occurrence of nature. It dominated the headlines of our news sites and televisions. In the run-up to the eclipse, we started hearing that word, totality, as broadcasters demonstrated with graphics and charts where in the country the best experience would be. And for those of us who weren't in the smaller band of that 100% totality, percentages like 77% or 87% or even 97% seem pretty good. I mean, how big of a difference really would it be to gain just 3% more shadow, right? Most of us couldn't imagine fighting the traffic like some did to make the journey to the totality zone. But you know what? In actuality, the difference between 97% and 100%, it was everything. For those who weren't in totality, well, the event kind of seemed overplayed. It was exaggerated by the media wanting to make stories and, eclipse glasses makers wanting to make a buck. To us, it got a little dark and gray for a while, and the street lights came on, but soon everything went back to normal, and it's definitely not a story that we'll tell our grandchildren about. But if you heard anybody, whether it was on the news or you know anybody that was there, people who dared to venture into the zone of totality, into total eclipse, well, they had a totally different experience. Totally different. People were astounded by the wonder of the moment they found themselves in. Some people cried. Others felt like they were coming alive. The pictures and the videos they captured record a day they will never, ever forget. And when they came back and when they told the rest of us about the eclipse as they had experienced it, it was as if we saw two completely different things. But you know what I wonder? I wonder if what is true about that day in August 2.5 years ago is also true about this journey of breakout for your life and mine. I mean, think about it with me just for a second. I mean, if you want to, I'm just going to tell you what some of you will probably choose to do during the 6 weeks. If you want to choose, you can choose to live on the edges of your divine design if you want. If you do this, well, these next 6 weeks, well, they'll just merely be a set of hopefully a decent set of messages, where you'll hear a few engaging truths, you'll walk away unchanged and unaffected. Jeremiah could have done that with his moment with God here in Jeremiah chapter 1. Totally. But instead, he chose to move into totality with God. He chose to step under the full shadow of His divine design and His divine destiny. And His book lives on to tell the story of what a life that steps into totality with God could look like. And let me just tell you, if you read and as we study these next few weeks, it wasn't always an easy journey for Jeremiah. It won't be an easy journey for you either. But if you choose to put your glasses on, to fight through the traffic up ahead, and give yourself fully to the journey on the other side of this message and the other 6 weeks, you too might just have an experience that changes the way you see everything, which is what I'm hoping. Not just break out of your homes in the quarantine of COVID-19. But break out of the mundane. Break out of the ordinary. Step into all that God wants for your life. In fact, I want to ask you the question again. What do you see? What do you see when you look at God's story for your life? Because let me just tell you, He is writing a story. That's what history is. It's His story. And I ask you, what do you see when you look at God's story for your life? Not just the good times, not just the mountaintop experiences, but what about the pain? What about the death? What about the loss? What about the sorrow that you've experienced? How does that play into His story for your life? What do you see? What do you see? I'm inviting you. No, I'm daring you. Since we're in the South, let's say it right. I triple dog dare you to join me and to move out of your nearsightedness or your farsightedness. And I'm asking you to consider that you are more unique than you think. And I'm calling you to step towards your divine design and your divine destiny. Because I'm going to say it one more time this morning. God's been dreaming about you and about your life from the beginning of time. That's the big idea again. You're more unique than you think. You are. You are special. You are unique. There is nobody like you. And I believe that you can actually learn to know this and name it in your life. But to do so, you'll have to do more than just hear a few sermons about it and go on your way. You're going to have to step into a process where you begin to change the way you think. That's why, along with this sermon series we're going to do on Sunday mornings, I can't overstress enough. The life group experience these 6 weeks is huge. I hope that every group at CWC Winston-Salem that you will sincerely take the time to go through this material together. And then these couple groups we're going to offer during the week, I'm going to personally lead them myself. And I want you to join me. They're virtual, of course, so it's kind of a real easy sell. You can even get on there and listen and not even show your camera if you want to. But send us that email so that we can get you connected, because we're going to dive into the deep end of the pool on this. And we're going to see even more of what Jeremiah experienced. And I believe we are committing to these processes as a church because we are committed to God's design and His destiny for your life. I hope and I pray that you will choose to, not just live on the outside of the experience, but to go after something more. And just as God called Jeremiah to do something more, I believe He's calling you and me to do something more. And in these 6 weeks, I'm inviting you to step towards a clear view of the true you. Because if for no other reason, you deserve it. You're worth it. And I want you to have everything that I know and I believe and I hope that God has for your life. Do you want it? Do you want it? Because it's yours for the taking. You are more unique than you think. And I hope that you'll join me. Again, triple dog dare you. Let's go through this together. Let's break out of the ordinary and the mundane. And let's become everything God wants us to be. Would you bow with me and let's pray for a second? Father, we thank you for this time. We thank you for this book, for this story, and for, Lord, the prophet named Jeremiah. And God, we're going to learn in these weeks to come that his story was not always one full of highlights. It had a lot of low points. God, the point was not success, but the point was your faithfulness to walk through him. So I pray all over Facebook this morning that you will let people hear you say those words by your Spirit. I will be with you. Whatever they're facing, whatever struggle they're going through right now, let them hear those words and let them ring true in their hearts that you will be with them. God, let that become our mantra. Let us walk in that and believe that and claim that in our lives confidently, that the God of the universe, we have been in your imagination since before time even began, that you care so deeply about our lives. And God, you don't just care about us and love us, but you divinely designed us, and God, you want to divinely destine us to do something spectacular in our worlds. And we want to know what that is. And I pray that all over the place this morning, people will be committed to joining me and joining CWC Winston-Salem for these 6 weeks as we discover together everything there is about the life that you intend for us to have. We love you, and we praise you, and we thank you. And we ask all of it in Jesus' name. And everybody said together, amen and amen. Thank you so much for joining us today. One more time, send your email to passit@christwesleyan.org, passit@christwesleyan.org, or connect with us through our CWC mobile app. And we'll make sure that you can dive in the deep end this week as we go deeper into this story, as we go deeper into discovering your divine design. Thanks again for joining us. Blessings to every single one of you. Remember, most of all, you are loved. God bless you.